Welcome back, guys. So, in our series of PostgreSQL, we are discussing replication in PostgreSQL, and in this video, we are discussing replication modes. In our last videos, we have talked about the configurations of the replication and what are the types of replication. We are discussing here the modes. Like replication has two modes: synchronous and asynchronous. So, we'll be discussing these modes in this video. Okay, so let's start the video. So replication has majorly two modes, asynchronous and synchronous. So in asynchronous mode, transactions on the master server can be declared completed when the changes on the master server are done. Okay, so after that, if the changes are like if you are doing an update, if that script is completed, like update parameter where id is 3 4 anything. So if your script is completed on master, the changes are applied to the master server. Okay, so these day changes will be replicated to the your standby server, replication server at later times when when your wall files are gets copied to the archive location of the standby server, then they will be applied to the replication server. Before that, they are uh, they are committed on the master server. Okay, you can see the changes on the master server. The replication server can remain out of sync for some time, like if your wall files are not copied to the archive location, they are not full, or they are not copied to the let's discuss this right now. We will be discussing this in detail later in our later videos. So if your wall files are not copied to the archive location of the slave server at this point of time, your slave can be out of sync. Okay, so you can call that as a replication lag. Once your wall files gets copied to the archive location of a slave server, then it will apply those changes and then it will be in sync with the master. But before that time, it will be unsync with the master. And this is the default mode for the replication. Okay, the another one is synchronous mode. Okay, so in this mode, transactions on the master server are declared complete only when those are changes have been completed over all replications. If you have one replication, two, three, if those changes are applied over all the replications, then only that will be updated to the master. Okay, replication servers will be available at all the times for these transactions to complete over the master server. Okay, so in this mode, like the master server sends an acknowledge request to the replication servers that if they received the data, like the changes what a master has applied, okay, on it. So the replication server sends the acknowledgement back to the master server, and then the master server resumes his works on and then applied the changes to it. Until this time, like if he hasn't received the acknowledgement back, till that it waits for the acknowledgement and does nothing. It is sitting idle. It's not applying any other changes to the master server. So if your secondary node is down, or your two three secondary you have two three secondary nodes and one of them is down, or not sending the acknowledgement back to the master server that it applies the changes, then it will be stuck. Okay, it doesn't it as it doesn't get the acknowledgement back. So by this it waits for a long time and it possesses delays in work. But this mode assures uh, greater data protection of you will not lose any data. If your master is not, your slave servers will have the same data as your master have. In case of disaster or any server breakdown, all the servers will be at the same data level. Okay, so this mode is not used majorly in the production databases, but yeah, asynchronous mode is used. But yeah, you need to tell your clients that the slave will be out of sync for some time if you are using asynchronous application. Okay, so this is all about the replication modes. In our next video we'll be talking about what are the models of the replication, when there will be single and multiple master modes. Okay, so we'll be discussing that in our next video. So thank you, and I'll be seeing you in the next video.